Okay, rookie mistake number 4 coming right at you guys. Thank you for all the support that I've gotten on these rookie mistakes videos. I've also been making the reaction videos just to kind of pass the time and have some videos in between these because it takes a little longer to make the rookie mistakes videos. So I'm going to be making a lot more reaction videos. I also want to take time to thank the patrons. Had like 10 of you guys sign up in the past month, which is amazing, something I never imagined. Did the first video Q&A for patrons only, and that's going to be the way that I answer questions that you guys have for me, which are specific going forward. It's also a good way to have a vote in which video I make next. So if these are things that you're interested in, consider joining. And the lowest tier starts at $1 a month. So yeah, thank you guys for the support. Let's get into rookie mistake number 4, which is, and let me just say first of all that this is a really important one, and this is the one that influenced me to make this series. I just wanted to get through the other 3 first, and these all tie together. If you watched rookie mistake number 3, you'll know that this one is not looking at your feet and board. Yes, eyes on the prize. And this is a big mistake that I made when I started skating. When I was learning how to kickflip is when it became apparent, and I only realized that I wasn't looking at my feet and board because I was trying to kickflip and I was showing one of the older, better skaters in the group that I skated with at the Versatile station on Satakoy and White Oak in Reseda. Shout out to all the Reseda skaters from back in the day. Shout out to the construction worker dude who used to harass us and pulled a gun out on one of the skater dudes. I wonder where he's at now. But yeah, I was trying to show him my kickflip and ask him what I was doing wrong. And he kind of laughed at me and said, "Why aren't you looking at your feet and your board?" I think I mentioned this in another video before. And that was the first time that looking at my feet and my board even crossed my mind. And that realization, coupled with finding a kid who was doing the first version of a kickflip, which I talk about in my video about kickflips. I break kickflips down into 3 different versions, and the beginner kickflip being the most essential for everyone because a lot of people are copying their favorite skater's kickflip, and you're just not going to be able to move your body that efficiently and that effectively when you've never done kickflips before. So you have to get that first freestyle type kickflip out of the way. When I saw another skater who was close to my level doing that kickflip, that coupled with someone telling me that I wasn't looking at my feet, I was able to get the kickflip down. So I want to explain why it's so important for you to be looking at your feet and your board. First off is when you're a beginner, these are all novel mechanics to you. So if you're doing an ollie, you're learning an ollie, you've never ollied before. If you're not looking at your feet, then you're not building the pathways in your brain that are necessary to make the ollie a response. You're not creating the pathways in your brain that are going to make your ollie second nature, because we learn things by the way that they feel, the way that they smell, and the way that they appear, right? And so we need to create all of these memories of ollies so that when you tell yourself to do an ollie, it becomes really easy. You know where your feet should go and you can kind of feel it out. And then sometimes in the future, you'll be able to do ollies and do them well without looking at your feet. Maybe you're going down a set of stairs and you're gonna look at the stairs, look at your feet, and then look back at the stairs and ollie while you're looking at the stairs. That's gonna be a lot more difficult if you didn't do the work in the beginning to make your brain know what it looks like and where your feet should be to ollie. So you want all of your senses to work together. And that's the first reason that you should be looking at your feet and looking at your board. The second reason is that you've got to make sure, obviously, that your feet are in the right place. In the right place on the board. Make sure that, you might have a shoe that's untied even. And your shoelace might get caught in your front wheel. So you got to make sure that everything down there is happening the right way. And the third reason is injury, okay? So I've told you guys that I sprained my ankle quite a few times when I was learning to skate. And my first sprained ankles were trying those kickflips without looking at my feet. And thankfully, you know, it was like on the ground. I didn't have pop yet, obviously, because I was a beginner, so they weren't major sprained ankles. Like I didn't have to not skate for more than a week or two because it was just a mild sprained ankle. But you know, it had a lot to do with me not looking at my feet, because the thing is, when I was learning kickflips, it was about 3 months into skating, and I was still skating the same deck that I'd been skating when I got my first deck on my birthday in 1998. So I got the deck in April, I learned how to kickflip in July, so that deck was pretty worn down. And I can pretty much guarantee that the reason that I sprained my ankle has to do with me not looking at the board and landing too far up on the nose and my foot flipping over the front, because it was my right ankle that I sprained. Now, had I been looking at my feet and looking at my board, there's no guarantee, obviously, but it's reasonable for us to assume that if I'd been looking at my feet, it would have been easier for me not to sprain my ankle, for me to position my feet and my legs better. So those are the 3 reasons that you should be looking at your feet. And these days, with the tricks that I'm trying now, it's a lot more important for me to be looking at my board and feet. I actually look at my board probably 70 or 80% of the time and only look out at the obstacles when I need to, just to get set up to angle myself towards the obstacle. But like, let's say I'm doing a crook nollie heel flip out, and I'm going to use that as an example because I know that I have video of me doing that on a lunch table that's very recent, right? So I'm basically looking at my feet the entire time because I need to get set up. So when I throw my board down, I'm looking at where the lunch table is, right? Then I'm looking down at my feet to get them set up. I might take an extra push, then I'm gonna step up onto the board, and I have to make sure that my feet are in the proper position so that I can pop and place my foot into the crooked grind. But as I've popped and I'm waiting for my nose to be pressed into the crooked grind position, I'm also looking at my back foot so that I can have my toes pointed off of the back of the board so that I'm in that nollie heel position. Now, as I'm grinding, I'm also looking at the lunch table so that I know when I should start to compress a little more and get ready to perform my nollie heel flip motion. And then after I've nollie heeled, I'm looking at the board so I can see when it's flipped and when it's okay to allow myself to land. So the majority of the time that I'm doing this trick, other than when I'm pushing and when I first throw down and I have to know where the table is in relation to me, I'm basically looking at my feet. And if I don't look at my feet, it's not going to be possible for me to do this trick. You know, I might be able to get away with 1 or 2, but it's also not worth the risk. So, rookie mistake number 4, not looking at your feet and your board when you're skating. Probably the most important one that we've gone over thus far, you know, and it also plays into the other ones. So, you know, if you're winding your shoulders up to do a backside 180 or backside 360 and you're not looking at your feet, I remember the effect of feeling dizzy from all the winding up. Now, this is a little hack. When you're looking at your feet and performing those rotations, you have something to anchor your vision on so you don't feel as dizzy. It doesn't feel like the world is spinning around you as much. So if you guys are working on frontside or backside 180s, I want you guys to try that. It'll really help. And you know, if you're extending yourself too much, extending your feet too much, and you're not looking at your feet, well, I talked about it in the last rookie mistake number 3, because it was extending yourself too soon, pushing your tricks down to the ground. If you're doing that and not looking at your feet, I can almost guarantee that you're gonna sprain your ankle at some point, like I did trying my early kickflips. So these 4 rookie mistakes that we've done so far, I'm confident that any of you guys who really deliberately puts these into practice and makes these a big part of your skating, you're going to see results. And if you stick to it and dedicate the time necessary to implement these in your skate game, it's gonna make your skating so much more enjoyable, because at the end of the day, we're all skating for a couple of reasons that I can see, right? We all wanna have fun, and that's the most important thing. And you can have more fun when you can express yourself better. And the way that I look at skating is every trick is like a shade of paint. And I'm painting the canvas using the colors that I have available. The other reason is to challenge ourselves, right? And a lot of times, the 4 rookie mistakes that I've mentioned over this series thus far, these are the reasons that you're not landing that trick you've been trying for a long time. And just yesterday, I was having a lesson and we were working on frontside shove-its. You know, the guy that I was working with, he could do frontside shove-its, but he wasn't able to do them consistently and he was landing them kind of squirrely. Now, when I get to a certain level, like this guy can do a nose slide, he can do a crooked grind, he can do a 50-50 on a ledge that's about this high, he can do tray flips. That's the first trick that I taught him to do in our first lesson. He was able to land it that first day. He can do kick flips, he could do a bunch of different tricks. And so it was a matter of seeing what he wasn't doing with his front shove it. And lo and behold, it was him not crouching down enough and him not looking at his feet to make sure that his feet were in position. So I stood over him for the last 20 minutes of our lesson and I just critiqued every single attempt that he had. And from that, we were able to get his front shove it to the point where he was actually crouching, where he was making sure that his back foot was in the proper place. A big important thing for your front shove-its is that you kick down like you're popping an ollie and then you scoop outward like you're trying to dig a hole into the ground. And I had to keep telling him that when you scoop that back foot, if I'm standing in front of you, I should be able to see the bottom of your shoe when you scoop it out. So standing over him, making sure that he's looking down at his feet to make sure they're in position and to make sure that he's performing the maneuver properly. And then he was able to get the trick after about 20 minutes and able to do it in a line with 2 ledge tricks. And this is what deliberate practice is. It's identifying where you're not measuring up when attempting the trick and correcting those movements that you're failing to make. And these 4 rookie mistakes that we've gone over, including this one today, those are gonna help you guys skate better and enjoy yourself more. Thank you guys for watching. Consider joining the Patreon. Consider getting a deck or a shirt from www.collagesskateboards.com. Let me know which tricks you wanna learn down in the comments. Let me know if you're having any issues. Join the Patreon if you want me to give you specific answers about specific tricks, or if you want my wisdom from the 25 years that I've been skating as it applies to some aspect of your skating. I got too much of a volume of questions to keep answering them for free in the comments section here, but I'm happy to answer them for patrons, and thank all of you guys that did sign up for that. And thank all you guys that watched. Enjoy skateboarding. Peace.